Okay, welcome everybody to the Comics Fu Show. I'm one of the co-hosts, Kurtis Fujita. I'm a Kung Fu instructor. And an artist, the creative director at Silverline Comics. And my upcoming comic book is called Shadow Ghost. It's the Kung Fu comic by a Kung Fu master. So I'm going to hand the baton over to my co-host, Patrick Lugo. Patrick, if you could please share with everybody some information about yourself.
I'm Patrick, art director for Kung Fu Tai Chi magazine. I'm also an author and comic creator. My forthcoming comic book is A Tiger's Tale. Picture the Jungle Book meets the Tao Te Ching, coming to Kickstarter Chinese New Year, February 1st, 2022.
Special guest tonight falls perfectly within that category. He's a dedicated martial artist, having done martial arts for over 2 decades. Additionally, he's the CEO, CCO, and a founder of Powerhouse Animation, and that's the company that brought you shows like Castlevania, Masters of the Universe Revelation, Seis Manos, Blood of Zeus, and just to name a few. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Brad Graeber. Welcome, Brad.
Hi, I'm very excited to be here.
Excellent. Well, we're very excited to be here. Definitely.
It always kind of stayed with me when, years later, I'm trying to draw a comic. And this is something Kurtis and I talk about, is how do you convey those subtleties, in a panel-to-panel sequence.
Yeah, no, and it is really, really difficult. I mean, it's easier in animation because you actually have time to be, time the state, not the amount of time, but you're able to work things over time, so you could do the pencil tests and see how everything's working out. But yeah, it's so difficult because it's these little nuances, these little things that almost take these aphorisms to explain, right? You almost, when, I don't know if you've seen the comic panels that are like the guy goes up to the teacher and is like, I'm just having real trouble learning this Kung Fu thing. And he's like, yeah, because you're using the wrong part of your brain. You need to use the part of your brain that isn't thinking as opposed to the one that is thinking. He's like, can you say that in a more esoteric way? He's like, yeah, do the not doing of doing, or something like that. He's like, oh, thank you so much, Sifu, I understand, but that's there's a lot of that in there. And it always amazes me. We have so many young animators that just have an innate sense. It's all via practice. It's not a talent, but they just have this innate sense of movement and body mechanics that you're unsure. You'll show them something like there's this one bit in Seis Manos where he does the classic whirlwind mantis thing, and I remember explaining it and like, oh, that's something that's nobody's ever going to get. And then it's in the show and I'm like, yep, that's exactly right. Like they know how to make that work.
Definitely.
You must have been so proud to
I know, right? Oh, it was so much fun.
Well, I have to compliment, and I hope I'm not saying this to make Brad self-conscious, but Kung Fu is who you are, right? And it's ingrained in. And for those of you watching, even before he described this movement, right, from Mantis, while Brad was talking, he actually demonstrated several hand postures related to Kung Fu. He was doing this, which is from Fu Hawk. Yeah. He was doing this, which is the crane's beak. I saw a grip like this somewhere in there. And that's the beauty of it. Once it's part of you. Somebody asked the Kung Fu guy directions to the store. He's like, okay, well, you make a right turn on, North Broadway, then go to the left here, and then you're going to go around the right. Help it. It's part of who you are, right? I mean, that's just, it's fascinating. When I'm watching Brad talk, I'm like, oh, he knows his stuff because it's who he is, right? Isn't that true?
Yeah. it gets totally ingrained in your body. Like I notice even like when I turn around, because my son's, he's 8 now, and so like he's experimenting with like trying to sneak attack daddy or trying to run and like, you know, slap me on the butt or whatever. And like I noticed like I'm always on around him, right? And because of that, if he's running up to me, my hand automatically goes like down and around just in case. And so he must think I'm the weirdest dad ever, because it's just part of the natural movement. It's because I'm not thinking about it. It gets ingrained in you through the forms and everything else that you do. And so, you know, it just becomes a part of your natural state. And I don't know, it's one of the biggest blessings of my life is discovering it, because it just changes everything about you in the way that you think in so many wonderful ways.
Definitely. You know, I always say to my students, it's like with Kung Fu, you know, everybody wants to know practicality, right? You know, can I use this? And I always say, you need a martial art that's good for self-defense if you need to defend your life. Absolutely, without a doubt. But how many fights are you getting into every day? If you're a grown-up adult, hopefully not many. So you have to have a martial art that enhances your life, that makes you a better person, that gives you something, so you have a life worth defending when it comes time to defend it, right? Hello, I'm Sifu Kurtis Fujita with Tiger Crane Kung Fu. I just wanted to let everybody know that we do have an online program that we're utilizing, not just for our enrolled students that come to our physical location, but also for students who are in other states, other time zones, other countries. It's a unique program with multiple components that really help you learn Kung Fu and Tai Chi at home during the current health epidemic and beyond. So we have different components. The first part is, of course, Zoom classes. We have online Zoom classes that meet throughout the week for Kung Fu and Tai Chi. We also have a unique thing which we call our rerun program. And what that means is we record the Zoom classes and we have an archive of dozens and dozens of videos for you to access at any time, anywhere, as long as you have an internet connection. So if you missed a class, you can go ahead and follow along and check it out. Or if you want to remember something that was mentioned in class, you can go back and watch the rerun. It's an archive for all enrolled members. Also, we have personal videos. And what I mean by that is if you film yourself doing an individual technique, you can send it to me and I'll be happy to shoot my own video with a response detailing specifically what you want to do to improve the exercise and do it most efficiently. And lastly, we even have a social club component. And what that essentially means is, you know, when you're at a gym or a martial arts studio, it's that sense of community, the ability to visit with your classmates, with your teacher after class to, you know, socialize. So we have a social club meeting. So once a week after class, we have a Zoom session and we talk for a little bit and catch up with each other and socialize. So these are all the different components that make our unique online Kung Fu program. If you're interested, feel free to reach me at my email address. It's instructor@tigercrane.net. Again, instructor@tigercrane.net. We would love to see you in our online studio. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you, and take care.
Hi, I'm Lugo, author, illustrator, comic creator, and the art director for Kung Fu magazine for more than 20 years. But I'm here to talk to you about a project that's really special to me. It's the middle grade graphic novel, A Tiger's Tale. Imagine the Jungle Book meets Kung Fu, but this isn't just a story of talking animals and fight scenes. This comic goes deeper. It started in the pages of Kung Fu magazine, and in that time, I've worked with Kung Fu masters, trying to collect their folklore and their creation myths and a lot of their philosophical tidbits. And I've taken all of those lessons and embedded that into the story of A Tiger's Tale. Now, this project was completed a few years ago as a black and white graphic novel, you know, yin and yang, black and white. But after some research and meditation, I've realized that to bring it to Kickstarter, what I really want to do is color it to make it even more appealing for the young readers that I have in mind for this book. You see, it's a story about finding one's place in the world, and I think it'll be ideal for any young martial artist starting on their journey. But don't be fooled, it's going to be entertaining for anyone who reads it, and the art, I think, is going to look gorgeous. Added to that, I'm going to have a bunch of back matter, glossary, index, how-to pages, essays, some of which you can even read now at atigerstale.com. This project is really important to me, and as a result, I've included a lot of really interesting reward tiers, mini comics, stickers, but also some gallery pieces and original art. But one of the reward tiers I'm really most excited about is a variant cover by world-renowned Taoist Kung Fu master Tu Jin Chang. I can go on about Grandmaster Tu. In fact, I'll do another video specifically about him down below. But before that, let me tell you this other thing. I have set aside a few pages so that backers can witness the coloring process as it happens. So please join me on this artistic journey. I think it'll be unique.